Ya tenemos todo listo. Ya, continuamos con la aventura. Son dos. Sí. A ver. Sí, le pregunté todo. Qué bueno. Pam, pam, pam.
The door has seen better days. The layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt and wind from the sea. Even the lock looks slightly rusted.
Esperaré fuera para darle algo de tiempo de privacidad y que pueda echar un vistazo a su nueva morada. Pero solo por informarle. Al acabar la jornada me hospedaré en el Whirling Racks. Nos reuniremos frente a la choza por la mañana. La llave gira y emite un satisfactorio chasquido durante el proceso. Ya puedes entrar. Nada mal. Vaca cálido y agradable. Las tablas de suelo crujen bajo tus pies. Revistas viejas de ciencia ficción, libros de ornitología y un almanaque del año 39. Un vigoroso viento costero aúlla y golpea la ventana de la choza de cuando en cuando. Las olas se arrastran bajo los cimientos, produciendo un leve zumbido. La estancia parece aislada, el sonido como si te calaras un gorro hasta las orejas. Fuera sopla un viento frío, pero tú te encuentras a resguardo, cómodo y a salvo. Se oye el desolador graznido de las gaviotas por encima de tu cabeza, muy por debajo de las aves. Perdura un malecón de madera lleno de puestos, mesas y bancos abandonados, resonando como el eco de una época perdida a tiempo. En una choza ruinosa a las afueras de unas aldeas pesqueras se encuentra un hombre de mediana edad, escuchando el zumbido del calefactor. Pero el aullido del viento se acrecienta, las olas chocan una vez más contra los pilones de madera. Piensas tus pensamientos, pero como si lo hicieras con la voz de otra persona.
Look under the floorboards.
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it,
Un poco de jabón y al lado un pequeño espejo de mano en la palma y una cuchilla de afeitar en el remo.
The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt, wrinkles lining the eyes and forehead. The stash is gigantic. You'll be looking like a pansy.
Las patillas aparecieron, creo.
A fresh start looms ahead. Clean yourself up and be born in.
Creo que sería mejor sin las patillas, ¿no? Me hace ver como si fuera alguien sin hogar, por lo que veo en la foto, ¿no? Solo por lo que puedo ver en la fotografía. Guardar partida.
On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough like an artist with a brush or a
Con el
master
virtuoso de la brocha, un maestro espadachín, usas el pequeño espejo y la cuchilla de afeitar, junto con algo de jabón para eliminar todo ese pelo desaliñado bajo tu protuberancia nasal. La afilada cuchilla te roza la piel emitiendo un sonido desagradable. La superficie bajo la barba es tierna y delicada, ahora expuesta a la calidez del mundo exterior. Palpar tus mejillas recién afeitadas.
They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you, as if you just came from a cold bath. The water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face. Despite the bulbous nose, unkempt hair, and persistent swelling, you look a little younger, maybe. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, such as it is. A regular, clean-shaven police officer. On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it,
Pensé que me iba a ver un poco más como el... como en la imagen del cover del juego.
the scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone. He can't be more than 5 years old. The other one looks
El otro es idéntico a él. Observa a su hermano dar patadas a la piedra con la lengua colgando por fuera de la boca.
This one doesn't say anything.
Al hormigón con su zapatilla desgastada.
Lily's mom.
The stone kicker laughs.
Se ríe de repente, tiene una cabeza muy grande en relación a sus hombros. El patear piedra ni siquiera es de muy alto calibre, cualquiera puede hacerlo. Aunque da patadas a la piedra, se vuelve frenético de repente como si fuera algo de lo que asustarse. La obviedad que acabas de afirmar.
He looks just like me.
El niño no responde, su hermano lanza otra piedra, ambos tienen el pelo cubierto de tierra. El pequeño patearrocas estaba siendo tímido, pero ahora ha recobrado el entusiasmo. Se le dan fatal a los niños. Pueden sonreír. Bueno, y si nos dedicamos a desempeñar algo de trabajo policial.
You're stupid.
Tú sí que eres tonto, dice el otro de repente. Y el policía se pregunta ahora otra cosa.
Okay.
Vale. No importa a quién le habla, me vamos a dar los mismos diálogos. Urogallo disecado. Seguro no como yo fuera.
Hello, mister.
Hola señor, una niña pequeña de no más de 4 o 5 años está ahí sentada en el sofá. Te mira con franca curiosidad. En sus pequeños brazos acuna un pequeño animal de peluche. De vez en cuando lo hace girar.
Yes. They don't want to play with me. They're older and play outside. They look the same. Sometimes I can't tell them apart. They look identical.
Y luego se ríen carcajadas.
Yes, I am. Little Lily. You know my mom? That's nice. My mom is great. She's never angry or anything. It's a grouse.
You might be able to get your
Tal vez podrías congraciarte con Garte si enmiendas lo del pájaro que seguramente rompiste. Yo le roto. Ah, probablemente.
I don't know. Sure. I mean, you already took it. I don't like it anyway. It looks angry. It's Lammy.
Lambi.
He's my friend.
Sostiene a la bestia peluda para demostrarlo. Lambi es un cordero de peluche que, siendo sinceros, ha tenido días mejores. Le falta uno de los botones que hace las veces de ojo, y el pelaje está hecho jirones por varios sitios.
Yes. Very soft.
De repente coloca el animal de peluche delante de su cara. No me lo me.
Isn't he soft?
Acá es muy suave, la niña tiene corazón, la envía es súper suave, frota el pelo blanco del peluche contra tu mejilla y después lo vuelve a colocar en su regazo acariciándolo.
Bye.
Ahí tengo más camino. No llames a Abigail, gruñe el hombre desaliñado de nariz enrojecida. Al verte, entrecierra los ojos como si te reconociera después aparta la vista. El hedor nocivo que emana del hombre ebrio es fuerte y familiar. No llames a Abigail. ¿Quién es Abigail? Después murmura apuntándose con el dedo de forma imprecisa. No llames a Abigail. Nunca pensaste que verías algo así en tu vida, pero este tipo está un pelín demasiado borracho. ¿Por qué no debería llamarme? No llames a Abigail.
The man hiccups, then mumbles something unintelligible.
¿Por qué no debería
He
llamar?
snorts and beckons you to lean in closer.
Bueno. Después agita la mano como si quisiera espantarte. ¿Y te exijo que respondas a mis preguntas? No tiene sentido gritarle a un borracho. Interrumpe el teniente, está consciente a duras penas. El borracho empieza a toser. Es una buena... No llames a Abigail.
The man hiccups, then mumbles something unintelligible.
Es una buena...
hacking cough. does not sound well at all.
Don't you fucking call her! Hear me? Abigail? Don't call.
There was little chance he'd be a reliable witness in
Hey, tequila!
Hombre tequila, un hombre de unos 30 y tantos años, como un chandal de 2 piezas de licra, baja su pilsner y extiende la mano para saludar.
Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality situation treating you? So what's happening? Yeah,
Sí.
Tequila Sunset. How are the, high-concept, reality-based adventures proceeding?
Good. These people know your true name. Looks like it has preceded you, Mr. Sunset. More on that later.
Tus tíos saben tu verdad. No, estos tíos son. Parece que te ha precedido. Que te ha precedido, señor Sunset. Después te contaré más cosas. No sé.
Things aren't going super well for Idiot Doom Spiral either.
Aún no he
Haven't
encontrado
found
esas
those
llaves.
keys yet, haven't won that
No he
big
recuperado
piece of
aquel
ass
pedazo de
back.
culo.
No word from my
Ni sé
business
nada de mis
buddies.
colegas empresarios. Tomo otro trago de cerveza.
It's you. You're
Ah, es mi
Tequila
nombre.
Sunset. We've met before. Don't you remember? Aha. Do you want to know how Tequila Sunset came to be?
Tequila Sunset.
Parece algo siniestro.
Something ominous there.
Por alguna razón el nombre tequila me da mala espina. Puede que no deba saber lo que significa. Ajá, déjame tomar un trago para remojar mis cuerdas vocales. Se toma un buen trago y empieza a...
Tequila Sunset
Que los mujeres
rolled
llegó
into
Martínez el
Martinez
viernes
last
pasado. Y
Friday.
cuando digo
And
Tequila
by
Sunset me
Tequila
refiero a ti.
Sunset,
El
I
hombre,
mean
la
you.
leyenda.
The man, the myth. Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is your story. Stop interrupting. You got here on Friday to
Llegaste
solve
aquí
a
el viernes
case,
pasado para
hoping to
resolver
be
un
the
caso
early
esperando
bird who
ser
gets the
el primer
worm.
pájaro
And
en
by the
hacerse con el
worm,
gusano.
I mean the
Y cuando digo
buzz.
gusano me
Because as
refiero a
far as I
borrachera.
know,
Porque
all you
lo
did
que
was
sé
get
todo lo
this
que hiciste.
drunk.
Lo que- Emborrachar todo grande.
Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer, and that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself in the head right in front of them. That's pretty high concept, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, that's totally your style. The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this. We get our drink on 24/7. Makes everything warm and glowy. I trust you know the feeling. One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza, followed by a series of dings and bangs.
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking? The billboard?
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in. Anyway, there was a brief silence, a gasp of silence, if you will, followed by a real commotion. We heard the carriage careening towards the coast at top speed. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of an alcoholic.
Three men are standing on a wooden platform extending out from the shore of a dilapidated fishing village. Their cheeks red, spirits high, beers in hand, eyes glazed over.
What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right there on the beach. You revved the engine and screamed at the top of your lungs. The time hath come! So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, I asked what time hath come, to which you replied, the time hath come for tequila sunset, the end of all things. Your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the jetty, and through the ice.
Your hands cramp on the steering levers.
We ran towards the ice whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt, covered in seaweed and shit, like some kind of sea monster. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was too late to get in there, though. The carriage had sunk too deep. Recognizing a brother in need, We offered our condolences and invited you to party with us, which you naturally agreed to.
What else was there to do? Thank you, brothers, for your helping hand.
We asked about the whole Tequila Sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on. Yeah, I agree. Hours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, I think it was Sunday morning, you got belligerent and wanted to talk about Revacholian women. How they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the event horizon, looked sullen, got up, and left without saying anything.
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, I bet Tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct. You must be proud to work with him.
If you only knew.
Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or something. To be honest, the details are a little hazy. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers whose main interest was cramping your style. No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the star of the show. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing it solo now.
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
Yeah, you seemed really mad about immigrants for some reason. I'd rather not get into the details. It was pretty low concept. You said being a cop was real boring and that there was no reason to talk about it. You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temple, saying, "Boring, boring, boring." You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we've all been fucked too.
Please, don't open that door.
No one's fucked me. I do the fucking around here. Abigail!
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. We are saving the
Please! Please don't go! Don't go!
Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. I tried to save the world once, a long time ago, with enterprise, creativity, and willpower. But that didn't work out. So now, it's a pirate's life for me. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really. Are you willing to help me out?
The gleam in his eyes and the slouch in his posture is so incredibly familiar.
I don't want it, man. I need it. Can't tell stories without it. Dry stories are boring, you see? So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Not much, but it will do.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. My actual name is George, but around here, you already know. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual, a founder / junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract value generation, value per person, high concept stuff. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. So I went jogging every so often to keep myself sane. "22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. Worrying about them often kept me up well into the morning hours. It did. With my trusty Sansarique tracksuit, I felt like I could conquer the world. But now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded, his dilated blood vessels encircling his irises like stinging brambles.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see? At least, that was the plan. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, very quickly. Wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox, which was useless. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass.
No, you don't.
Whatever. The point is, reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower. But when life knocked me down, I always got up. So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also forgotten my apartment key. I wish I were, Tequila. I wish I were. Instead of my apartment key, I'd taken the key to the office. I rang my neighbors' buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I was trying to sell them something and hung up before I could even explain the situation. People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best. Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. I could wait out the storm there. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only the best, he'd already done it, and I couldn't get in. Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going with this. So, now you've heard my tragic tale. What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh? Yeah, maybe I've exaggerated certain parts over the years. When you tell a story too often, it begins to take on a life of its own. But what matters is that it's true to my subjective experience. Anyway, that was all the story one bottle gets you. Almost empty, this one. Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty two-piece lycra tracksuit? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agency. I had a nice apartment, an even nicer piece of ass. But somehow it all got away from me. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket, but then I lost it too. The only things I haven't lost are these two drunks.
A lost jacket? Sounds like a mystery you could look into.
My agency. Man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest forms of marketing. The color red, breasts, and oil painting. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high-concept cultural incubator called Thin Air. The artists were happy, the clients were happy. I was financing a group of poets in East Rebishal who were developing a new universal poetic language. But then it all went to shit. Well, you know, sex sells. That's the first rule of advertising. That's what's so cool about advertising. It's kind of like art, except you can also get fucking rich doing it. My fellow members of the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, they're exactly what they look like.
Hey, tequila! You want to buy some speed?
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. He's a cop, remember?
I thought he was a cool cop.
A gurgling sound comes from the direction of the non-responsive man.
And yeah, you're already acquainted with abs. So yeah, that's basically us. We drink together. Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my Lycra threads, but it did itch a lot less. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila? Yeah, exactly. You're here to serve, right? If I knew where I lost it, don't you think I'd have it? I mean, maybe I was up by the boardwalk, or walking along the beach, or checking out the abandoned fish market. Somewhere north of here, that's for sure. You could ask around, see if anyone's seen it. What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before? Go on, feel that primo material.
You really shouldn't touch it.
Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum, honestly.
Good God. It's nearly impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15% less human for having touched it. Randomized trials have also found lycra, TM, to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers, so you also have that to look forward to. And then there's the smell, but you don't even want to think about that.
Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them any time. I'm all ears, Tequila. What's in a name?
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual, a founder / junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. So you don't want to just hear the same story again? Okay. Huh. I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low, if you catch my drift. Interesting. Ah, this is what they use to keep the working man going. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former bicycle courier in Coron. There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict. What everyone agrees on is that nobody knows the exact nature or identity of the phenomenon.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is walking home from a late shift at the harbor. It's almost midnight. She stops for a cigarette near the canal.
The streets are warmed by a southerly breeze. The lights of a passing motor carriage bloom and fade in the distance. In the harbor's dark, her cigarette is a beacon, dancing alone. The image comes to you effortlessly, as though you'd walked the same streets yourself 1,000 times.
Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see? Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here. A man with no head on his shoulders, wearing a fawn tracksuit, searching for the legendary fawn cap that went missing when he lost his head.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
Well, there are many versions of this story, the most peculiar of which has the headless fawn rider riding on the back of another headless man. Yes. According to legend, young Gertrude Het had to endure years of psychotherapy before she was able to look at a horse or tracksuit again. And she's one of the lucky ones. Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless fawn rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminists by the locks.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it?
I've read the case file. But please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. Ula DuPont and Eva Delgado. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The first cold rain of the season.
Two women stand on a small outcropping of rocks. One of them is wearing a purple raincoat. Thin lines reach out from the rods into the sea. Small droplets start appearing on the surface with increasing frequency.
The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ula turns around to reach for the tackle box.
Don't turn around. Don't turn around.
When she sees something, her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment building believe lightning has struck. But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless fawn rider looming on the horizon. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock and disappears into the cold, cold canal with nary a sound. Her body is never recovered. Word on the street is that she, you know. Gave herself facial deconstruction surgery. Real grisly stuff.
That part, at least more or less, corresponds to the case file.
See? Told you. Anyway, that's the story of the Headless Faun Rider. Pretty crazy, huh? Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. There are a couple of possibilities, though. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now he rides, searching for his lost found cap, plotting revenge.
O headless brother, where art thou?
Others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got decapitated by an exceptionally taut clothesline.
Even decapitation couldn't stop his commitment to the sport. Are you that committed?
Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall was so violent that his head came clean off. Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But then, no one really knows.
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
That explains the horse part for sure. Don't know why he'd be wearing a tracksuit, though. Seems like a stretch, if you ask me. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a handle on it, then blam! It throws some wild shit at you. That's why it's critical to stay well hydrated. Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that. I have to admit, that's pretty high concept. Still not as awesome as a headless rider in a found tracksuit, though. No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight. Ooh.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
The tale I'm about to tell you, there are many
Are you telling the story?
Shut the fuck.
The streets are warmed by a southerly. In the harbor's dark, her cigarette is a beacon, dancing alone. The image comes to you effortlessly, as though you'd walked the same streets yourself 1,000 times.
Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. What? No, I told you this is a Martinez legend. It's a man. With no head on his shoulders, wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head. Woe is right, my friend. Gertrude Head may have been the first to witness the headless found rider, but she wasn't the last. Oh no.
Tell him about the two feminine.
Fuck, Rosemary. What?
I read.
Right. The wind.
Two women.
The women are...
Don't turn around.
When she sees... But there... Ula makes... Her body is never recovered.
Naturally, Ula De Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless found rider and that she ran, fearing for her life. During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked up this stupid cover story. No, she committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle, her face slowly peeling off the ceiling. Not a pretty scene.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well. Here's to another case closed. Anyway, that's the story of the headless found rider. Pretty crazy, huh? No one knows.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye. I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
I actually do have one. The strangest of them all. But I'll need to fortify myself before I can tell that one. Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice. Classy. This last one is the most Martinez story I've ever heard. I've never heard it mentioned outside of here. At first, I thought it was a joke, to be honest. But I've been on the coast 8, 9 months now, and in that time I've seen at least 3 expeditions come through, searching for something.
A shovel hits the sand somewhere behind the reeds, near an abandoned construction yard. The young men look over their shoulders suspiciously. The sound of their digging seems loud in the sudden silence.
Magic animals? No, man, this is serious stuff. No, Tequila. Most people already know where they live. It's guys like you and me that are the exceptions. Hey, hey! Fuck you, Tequila. All kinds. I've seen archaeologists, gangsters, even a bunch of ad agency types. I'm telling you, Tequila, this thing's got a pull on certain kinds of people.
Wait, there's a tingling back here, the stirring of a faint sensation.
You know, obsessive types. People with predilections. Some of those expeditions come back after a week or so, looking haggard and dejected. Others don't return at all. The first time I saw one of these expeditions, I thought they were fucking with me. There was no way it could be true. It was just too high concept, even for me.
There's no way. It can't be. Or can it? You know.
I'm not even sure I should be telling you this story, to be perfectly honest. You're in a fragile state, and it might be too much for you to handle. Okay, fine, I'll tell you. But I'm warning you, it's pretty out there. Our story begins at a legendary design studio, right here in Martinez. There was this designer. His exact name is lost to history, but in life, he was a legend. Made it big in Aranya, where he did some real pioneering work on grotesque and sans serif typography. A fucking genius, man. That is, if he even existed. Who knows? It's an urban legend, after all.
He existed, all right. You feel it deep within your basal ganglia. He was as real as you are. I'm talking about.
Anyway, sometime later he started his own personal studio here in Martinez. And that's when he started working on some really wild stuff. I'm talking some glass-smooth, forward-looking design language, the kind of thing that would totally overthrow the old regime, design-wise. But then, something turned. You see, it's widely known that nose candy and pioneer graphic design work go hand in hand. You know tequila, nose candy, the White Railroad, party powder.
The kids on the streets also call it Snow Day.
Sinus salt, the White Knight.
Can't see, for its popularity among the aristocratic class of the prior century.
Along with a number of more banal street names. Blow, of course, but also flake, powder, pearl. Really, anything that's white will get the idea across. He's talking about cocaine.
Shit yeah, tequila. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got to understand, the work this guy was doing was so high concept that regular amounts of cocaine just weren't cutting it. By the end, they were bringing it in by the lorry load. Now, as you might imagine, snorting that much cocaine can't be healthy for a regular human, right?
Right. Wrong. Do it all the time. All day, baby.
Hey, tequila, pay attention. The story goes that one day he was balls deep in work on what he thought would be his pièce de résistance, an advert so minimal it contained neither text nor images, just pure white. Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine." I know, tequila. I know. But the story doesn't end there. Supposedly, when they performed the autopsy, the coroner discovered nearly a quarter kilo of coke jammed into his nasal cavity. That's right. 250 grams of blow had accumulated in there over the years. We're talking high-grade Saramaritsian pure. Not that cut-rate shit your grandma does. There are those who believe the designer was buried with this quarter key of nose candy still lodged in his sinuses. That's what those expeditions are looking for.
The cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull. Here's the kicker. This designer, this lead designer of a world-famous design studio, was born in Martinez. A local boy, Martin Martinez. That's why he brought his studio here, back to where it all began. And that's why they buried him here, too. Perhaps right under Ab's pipe there. Or probably further down the coast, or in some yard in Martinez proper. A hidden mausoleum, no one knows exactly.
No, my grandma always told me his grave lay somewhere on the islets on the bay.
This is ludicrous and physically impossible. Sinuses can contain that amount of anything.
Now, detective. Always the skeptic. My only question is, where does one get a shovel?
The archaeologists say they want to put it in a museum, the gangsters say they want to sell it on the black market, and the ad agency guys say they're seeking inspiration.
Bullshit. They just want to snort it. But you could beat them to it, Harry. You could snort the magic skull cocaine instead.
I'm pretty sure they all just want to snort it, though.
And why wouldn't they, eh? Sounds like right strong stuff.
Don't listen to him or his grandma. He's just making things up.
No, my grandma told me. I've heard other people say it too. That it's underwater. Or no, maybe it was the storm sewers.
Or maybe it's in the air, or in an ancient step pyramid offshore.
In a pyramid? Now that would be something.
They're pretty vague about it in general. The gangsters like to claim they're looking for the grave of a friend, with picks and shovels. The archaeologists act all official about it, saying they're conducting serious research. Honestly, I think they're not really scientists, just rich. The junkies, for some reason, are pretty upfront about it. They just say they're looking to snort some blow out of a dead man's nasal cavity.
Honest men on an honest
Una búsqueda
quest.
honesta.
You should join them.
By now, I'd say I know about as much about it as anyone on the coast.
Vale, estoy convencido. Vamos a encontrarlo.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on just a minute.
Literalmente imposible.
Finding it right now is literally impossible.
What?
¿Por qué?
For one, the way is blocked.
Por ese camión grande que tiene escrito Compañía Logística Delta de Muna Lateral. Sin duda, también tendrías que buscar en la zona que hay tras ese camión y no se puede pasar.
It is impassable. And second, outfitting an expedition like that is expensive.
Para una expedición como esa resulta caro. Tendría que ser una gran producción para hacerle justicia a la calavera de cocaína. Necesitas equipo nuevo, gente capacitada, toda clase de provisiones. Sencillamente no es factible en el marco económico y temporal de nuestra situación actual. De hecho, a menos que caiga del cielo un montón de pasta, es posible que nunca sepamos qué ha pasado con esa calavera. Concuerdo, apenas tenemos lo necesario para resolver nuestro caso actual. No podemos permitir el lujo de ponernos a perseguir un objeto casi mítico de parafernalia sobre la drogadicción. Además, haría quedar extraordinariamente mal a la MCR que nos encontraran con las manos en la masa como algo que destila cocaína por todos sus poros y muy complicado de gestionar para las relaciones públicas. Espera, puede que haya otra forma.
Maybe up around the coast. Don't give up now.
Yeah, well, that's the reality situation for you.
Puede que algún día tengamos nuestra oportunidad.
Someday we'll get our chance.
¿Puedes volver a hablar de la calavera de cocaína? ¿Me puedes volver a hablar de la calavera de cocaína?
Right. A story specific to... I've never heard...
A shovel hits the sand somewhere behind the reeds. Near and...
All kinds.
Wait. There's a tingling.
Some of those... The first...
Toda la historia completa.
I'm not even... Okay. There was...
He existed. I'm talking.
Anyway. But then... Something... You've got to understand... Now. As you...
Right. Wrong. All day.
Hey! Tequila. Apparently the idea was too high concept even for this genius. He dropped dead right at his desk before he could finish. His last words are recorded to have been, "It's as white as a blizzard of cocaine." But the story doesn't end there. That's right. There are those...
Cocaine skull.
The cocaine skull. No. Wow. Here's the kick. That's why. Or probably.
No, my grandma.
This is ludicrous.
Now, my only question is, where does one get a shovel?
Good thing, because I don't think you can find it
Puedes
right
encontrarlo
now.
ahora mismo.
What?
¿Por qué?
For one, the way is blocked, and second, it's just...
Todos los diálogos.
Besides, it would look extreme.
What are you talking about? Don't give
Creo que hay
up.
otra forma, quizás rodeando
Maybe
las
there's
cosas.
another way. Maybe up around the coast.
Your loss could have been an amazing, ridiculous adventure.
That's all right. We've got plenty of adventures for one case.
Not that I can think of, currently. That might be the case, yes. You too, Tequila Sunset.
Oh, ha durado mucho. La conversación ha durado mucho.
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy?
¿De qué estás
So what do
hablando?
you want? I've got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I've got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed. And by speed, I mean amphetamine.
Licor medicinal azul. 300.
Aye, by amphetamine I mean speed. Aye, that's what I said. Good, my man.
Menudo
Now what
negocio
can
que
I
te
offer?
montaba.
See, friend,
Parece amigo se
it's
saca una
real
botella de un
valuable.
litro como líquido azul en su interior tapada como un corcho. Es un licor muy valioso.
Got it from
Vale
a bit
cada
of a
real, no sé si me
business
entiendes. Me la agencié en una pequeña transacción comercial.
venture. You know, it's
La
funny,
verdad es que tiene su
actually.
gracia. Se empieza a reír a carcajadas. Luego toma 3 tragos de su Pilsner y te mira con intensidad.
He's finding it difficult to focus his watery gaze.
Su mirada llorosa.
What?
Como que antes has dicho...
This guy.
¿De dónde sacaste la botella de licor?
Oh, this is medicinal spirits, the good stuff.
Lo saqué
Got
de
it
la
from the
oficina del
doctor's
doctor.
office. I got one of those
Conseguí una de las ampollas
scientific
científicas hace unos
ampoules
meses, lo llaman
ago.
torpedo.
Torpedo, they
Se
call
supone
it.
que evita
It's
que
supposed
bebas.
to keep a
Escupe
man
una
from
asquerosa
taking a drink.
flema amarilla que cae en el suelo frente a ti.
Didn't stop me
A
for shit,
mí,
that's
a mí
for
no
sure.
me detuvo, ese
5
seguro.
lemons with half a
En
pack
su
of
voz
butter and you're good
hay
to go.
orgullo. 5 limones con medio paquete de mantequilla del bistro. Parece peligroso.
It was. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of help. Finally, the missus took me to a private doctor's office. Not a charity, the real thing. Those arseholes charged me 4 real to
4
remove
reales
the
por
damn
quitármelo,
thing.
pero
But
después
I
de
came
todo
out
salí
on
bien
top
parado.
after all. The idiots left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology.
Biología.
I know what doctors use to preserve dead thingies. Like 3 cans of this
3 latas de ese material medicinal de color azul del cuarto trasero. Tiré las víboras y voilà. Lo que quedó fuera es esta preciosidad. La bebida azuleta agita botella 98. Uf, 98. Ya lo he vendido 2 a estos. Pero esta última es tuya por 3 reales si la quieres.
Don't say it.
No lo digas.
Yeah, be careful. It's extremely flammable. One spark and the entire city of Revachol is wiped off the map.
Feels like someone set a mustard field ablaze right inside your nose, then drenched it in tear gas. Your nose is a singular source of pain, but at the same time you don't
Había
remember the
sentido tan
last
vivo.
time you felt so alive.
So, what's the deal, friend? Want the spirits or not? 3 real and it's yours, friend. The deal of a lifetime.
Well done. You got it.
Oh. The system's been good to old Rosemary here, and I'm milking her like a bitch goat in the backyard. You see, friend, man makes his own luck, and I made mine real good. Got my hands on 3 bottles of liquor exquise, sold 2 to the fellows around here, and immediately invested the profit. Bought cigarettes, bought beer, even bought a bit of speed. And look at me now. I got everyone on my hook. Hook 'em and cook 'em, huh? You want to buy something? Let's keep it moving. Just make sure to enjoy that one, friend.
Son, you will not kill yourself with this. Not
Hijo, no te
today.
metas con eso hoy, no,
So we're
así
going
que
to
lo vamos a
store
guardar
this
como
as a
objeto
sellable
comercializable.
item. Go sell it at the pawn shop for a profit.
In the civilized world, it's a custom to tip the shopkeep, friend. But come back anyway.
¿Y a cuánto lo puedo vender? 6, oh. Por el doble. He estado más de 1 hora dialogando con estos tíos.
A drop in temperature.
Desciende la temperatura, un simple flujo de aire, una calle vacía ante ti, la carretera libre de camiones y no se atisba ningún conductor fumando sentado en el peldaño de enganche de su vehículo, tan solo el silencio. ¿A qué va el lobo?
Chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop.
Al
Corrosion.
otro lado de la carretera, una parada de autobús olvidada. La corrosión ha abierto un agujero en su techo. Un olmo vigila el edificio. Sus ramas gotean por la lluvia y nieve.
The road is smooth and
El
motley.
camino es liso y heterogéneo, cráteres llenos de un asfalto negro. El asfalto que se colocó por primera vez ya es gris. A lo lejos se está construyendo una hilera de viviendas. ¿Qué hay en la parada de autobús? La 312. Los adolescentes solían venir aquí y se hacían un ovillo esperando más calor del que les proporcionaban sus finos abrigos. El autobús los llevaba a la escuela. Lleva 8 años sin funcionar. No había suficientes jovencitas para justificar su costo. ¿Quiénes son las personas que viven al otro lado? Una bañera de agua caliente, blanquecina, por jabón. Como hombres se bañan mientras por las ondas de radio se transmiten los números de la lotería. 4182141. Una moderna lavadora hace tintinear un cajón lleno de cubiertos. Que hay en la carretera. Los cráteres agujerearon la superficie. Los niños jugaban en ellos hasta que llegaron camiones llenos de alquitrán negro. Los terratenientes han llenado los cráteres con dinero. Como el dinero es una arteria vital para el flujo del comercio.
There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away, right at the turn.
La tragedia llegó entre las ruedas de un rápido vehículo del MCR que se apresuraba a llegar al trabajo. El frío te envuelve, el sonido del mar que se ha vuelto distante.
The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves a curl of his hair.
Ya no puedo pasar. Golondrina negra sobrevuela, la oyes cantar. Azul. El invierno que tarda en abandonar Rochol salpica algo más de nieve húmeda desde arriba. La nieve cae perezosamente haciendo que la arena de la playa sea aún más pálida, mezclándose con la escorrentia de aguas residuales de color óxido. Y pensar que parecía como si ya fuera primavera. Estás caliente con tu sombrero y tu abrigo como un explorador, bien equipado, estudias con comodidad el paisaje blanco. Más costas sinuosas, bordeando los edificios abandonados.
Salt water lapping at their dark piles, grey and red forgotten city blocks, what remains of the pre-revolutionary effort to gentrify the coast. The waters turn black, coal city in the shadow of San Martin, a boom town, back when coal extracted from countless shafts near the city was needed to power Revachol. No more. The coal was supplanted by petroleum from the ocean floor and hydropower from the Esperance. Everything crumbled. These days, only the weakest remain in Coal City. Their hopes of getting rich linger in the defunct shafts under their feet. Below the old mines, L'Océan Municipal, Revachol's underground cemetery. Le Petit Rat braved the underground passageways, trying to get to Le Royaume, where the Philippian kings were interred with their doctors and their admirals. Mausoleums, burial chambers, leaf gold still remains on the double door of the morning. Yes, to peel the gold off with his fingernails. Children under 14, they go underground looking for artifacts to sell to foreign museums. And for fabled relics, their parents let them. They go deeper. After rubies, melchiorite, lapis lazuli, plundered from Safle and Seol during the time of the suzerain. In the burial chambers of the kings, Grand Old Philip, Guillaume II, and even in the mausoleum of Philip the Opulent. 2 kilometers underground, in a winding shaft along whose walls mirrors have been placed, so that daylight may eternally fall upon the richest of all the kings. The mausoleum contains untold quantities of gold, and that special, purest of the pure magenta cocaine, favored by Revacholian royalty. Did someone say untold quantities of cocaine? Drop everything immediately and go looking for this hoard. Few Petira return from the shafts. Even fewer find what they're looking for. A small child steps out of the black tunnel with silver trinkets in her pockets. All around her, white snow on the extinguished coke furnaces, and layer upon layer of sand poisoned with industrial runoff, the storm drainage, hidden bunkers, rats scuttle. Someone stuffed a big old polar anorak into a concrete pipe under the boardwalk. It would keep you warm. You would probably never happen across it, but who knows? The raised motorway, 881, separating Martinez from Jamrock. Vehicles whoosh past one another day and night, while those who reside in the labyrinthine alleyways beneath the motorway attempt to carry on with their lives in the snow and the slush. And south of the 881 is the Pox. Was once a park, a place for reflection and recuperation for the patients of the old military hospital. In the 20s,
En los años 20 se usó como centro de cuarentena durante un brote de sarampión. Mató a muchos niños. Desde entonces casi todo el mundo evitaba el hospital y el parque que lo rodea. El Pox es ahora un lugar totalmente salvaje. Matorrales de hoja perenne cubiertos de nieve y polvo industrial.
The police try to keep the deepest corners cordoned off. Heavy drug users do slip through and hole up in the old military hospital, hoping to find something to get high on among the hastily abandoned supplies, or just to overdose in peace. A line of motor garages with armored carapaces hunched in the cold. A mechanic is hard at work, patching up bullet holes in the side of a Capri 40. These are the garages
La nieve se posa en el tejado de la fábrica de seda reacondicionada a tu comisaría. El tembloroso personal de la MCR entra y sale a toda prisa por la entrada principal.
Around you, the snow continues to fall. To the west, the ocean swells. The stairs descend to central Jamrock. A man named Cooklove has a snow-covered stall there in the market across the bridge. He sells kebab infested with fly larvae to your colleagues who believe eating it will make them immune to food poisoning. Snow falls on the utility district, the library, the florist, the Sarah Mauritian restaurant that offers homemade wine, and also on the brothels and drug dens and the chop shops of the Zemlyaki. All of this built around a lake that formed in a meteorite strike. At the center of this lake, there is a little ship. There are lights at the bottom of its hull. They are lights directed toward the seafloor, looking for something, like whiskers. A chill comes over you, crawling down your back. The sand under your feet is wet. Somewhere in the south, tarpaulin flap in the wind. The canal you crossed to get here and beyond it. Martinez proper, the district the police forgot to police. There is laughter, lights, attempts at entrepreneurial activity, cynicism. Someone is scraping snow off their windshield at the roundabout, in the midst of which a statue of Philip III serves as a destination for grade school field trips and a fine perch for winter birds. Like all monuments, it's also a warning. 6-story ruins on the south side of the roundabout cast a long shadow over the profligate king. A fenced-off yard. There's a truck belonging to a logistics company parked next to the gate. You've heard about it. Bright light from a building behind the fence reflects off its hood. The abandoned church, one of 2 remaining stave churches, which were collectively called Les Sept Sœurs. The other 6 sisters were destroyed during the Revolution. A serpentine strip of land weaving its way into the Martinez Inlet. Unfortunates on the run from the law, from themselves, sometimes hide out on nearby islets. Little dots in the ocean that are occasionally submerged when the tide is high and the weather foul. The remains of a camp on a jagged piece of rock, a tent, old dishes and cutlery, long since abandoned. A hermit crab scuttles among the debris, looking for a new shell. Further out, the lights burn bright on Resurrection, way beyond Martinez, a popular spa destination for ample-bodied Ozon kids with equally ample pockets. Then there's Ozon, but the snow falls too thick. You cannot see that far. The Bay of Revachol, vastness, great depth, over 1,200 meters at its deepest. Water air brinier than here. It is crisscrossed by huge cargo ships bearing company logos. Wild pines, Zam, Maurien, and at the farthest reaches of the Bay of Revachol, the shadow of the coalition warship Archer, on perpetual patrol duty, ready to unleash artillery fire if you were to rise up against the market. You shudder. Coalition
Más globos
aerostatics.
aerostáticos
Occasionally,
de la coalición.
lights
De
flash
vez
as
en
they
cuando las
maneuver
luces
through the
parpadean mientras
falling
maniobran
snow.
entre la
One
nieve que
large
cae. Una
airship
gran aeronave
carries
transporta
crates
cajas en su
in its
vientre.
belly.
We should keep moving. Who knows when the snow will let up.
Mucho diálogo. Y acá guardamos partida. Guardamos. Listo. Uf. Bueno, ahí me quedo por hoy.